Hi, my name is Robert Chelle with Chelle Law, and I'm an attorney that assists dental associates with employment contract and independent contractor agreement issues. Today I'm going to talk about being an independent contractor as a dental associate. So when I review the independent contractor agreement with the dental associate, what are some of the areas that we identify and some of the risks in signing an independent contractor agreement. So first, the discussion starts with, are you actually an independent contractor or not? I find many times an employer will ask the dental associate to sign an independent contractor agreement, to be paid as an independent contractor, meaning they get a 1099 at the end of the year, not a W-2, no taxes are taken out of their compensation. And the employer normally does this just so they can avoid having to pay employment tax. But maybe all of their responsibilities, all of their duties, the way that the position is situated is a total employment relationship, meaning the employer controls their schedule, who they see, where they work, obviously how much they make. The employer is in complete control, and so in that scenario, it's kind of pretty unlikely that the dental associate would be an independent contractor. The independent contractor agreement should be reserved for part-time work, relief work, just filling in, PRN stuff, daily rate, short periods where maybe you're working somewhere a handful of times a month or maybe 1 or 2 days a week. It might make more sense, and you're working in multiple practices. But if you're working for one practice, you have a non-compete, you have to give a lot of notice, maybe they're paying for things, probably not an independent contractor. So that's the first thing that we'll talk about. Now, what are the risks if you sign an agreement and you're not actually an independent contractor? Well, it's possible that the state, perhaps the IRS, will come in, review the contract, and determine that perhaps you're not an independent contractor. So what happens then? Well, normally there'd be a fine and some back taxes owed, employment taxes from the employer. The language in the contract is pretty important in a scenario like this, because sometimes the employer will shift the burden of any of these penalties onto the dental associate. So you want to make certain that if there is some kind of misclassification issue, that the organization that you're working for is the one responsible and not you as the dental associate. Because 99 times out of 100, it's not the dental associate's choice of whether they're an independent contractor or not. It's the practice that's deciding this or dictating it to you. Like, no, you are not an employee. No matter what, you're signing an independent contractor agreement. It shouldn't be the responsibility of the dental associate in a scenario like that to pay all of the fines associated with misclassification. So that's the next thing. Next would be, what do they pay for versus you pay for? As an independent contractor, generally, you are not going to get any benefits. You're going to have to pay for your own license, your own DEA if necessary. The one thing that some practices will pay for as an independent contractor would be malpractice insurance. They'll at least pay the annual premium, meaning like how much it costs to insure the dentist on an annual basis. And then if it is a claims-made policy, they'll usually shift the responsibility to pay for tail insurance to the dental associate as an independent contractor. Terminating the contract is important as well. It should be a shorter notice period. Most dental associate contracts are usually somewhere between 60 to 90 days. An independent contractor agreement should be less than that. I would say no more than 30. It could be even less. I mean, the entire point of kind of longer notice periods in the healthcare arena, and this goes for physicians, dentists, nurse practitioners, physician assistants, is for continuity of care. You don't want to have a schedule of patients lined up months down the road, and an associate gives 1 day of notice and leaves, and then these patients are kind of out of luck. So generally, for continuity of care purposes, we have a much longer notice period than if you're working a corporate job, and 2 weeks would be a normal amount. So that's just a little bit on what I review with the dental associate if they are looking at an independent contractor agreement. If you have any questions, about an employment agreement or independent contractor agreement, feel free to contact my law firm. All of our information is listed below in the description, and I appreciate you watching the video. All right, thanks. Take care.